idea of being a man in a feminist world or in a feminized world and kind of what that looks like. But I wanted to unpack it a little further and go ahead and discuss sort of how society is also producing the extra man. Um, a misnomer for several iterations of this could be an incel, a loser, a geek, these types, right? These kind of miscreants, right? These kind of misdiagnoses of what it is. But look, I mean, the reality is there is extra men in many ways, and what it is that they're dudes that don't even get the opportunity to be exploited. They're not even exploitable. They don't fall in love. They never feel the love of a woman. They don't even know what a victory feels like. And I had a buddy similar to this who, for all the desires in the world, could not get what he was looking for. And without a doubt, I mean, there was actionable steps that he did not do as much as I would tell him. He just refused. He wanted all the things that required some work, and we're all born differently. So it's not like some of us require more work than others, and that's just part of the game. It's not anything to be ashamed of or to get frustrated about. But yeah, so I think with the extra man is you have to consider, is it a man that's useless? Is it a man that's dangerous, or is it both? And look, at the end of the day, we are born with a certain equipment, right? We have natural resources in which are at our disposal. And like nations, we have to use them accordingly. The other thing is too, with the extra man is, I think the extra man is in a very precarious situation because they are sedated by several things, sedated by video games, by pixelated images of people doing the things that they wish they did, by weed, by food, these sort of cheap dopamine starter pack, if you will, that allows these dudes to get away with the lifestyle they've been living because they aren't compelled, nor are they forced to look at themselves inwardly and decide that enough is enough. I need to make a change. And I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm not doing anything. And so I think the prescription, the solution is, and it will look differently for different people. The iterations could be many, but it is very simple. And it is to decide that you want to essentially become an adventure maxer, right? Adventure maxing. To think about it like this, you want to make a life worth living that can be written down and turned into a novel. And what that looks like could be anything, right? With a story arc in it. But that's going to require several things of you. And that is going to require you to be heroic, to be sexy for sure, to have an entrepreneurial spirit in many ways, and to want to stand out, carve a path, one that's uniquely your own, right? That'll allow you to sort of put your energy into something creative. And I think this would be considered some cruel optimism. Cruel optimism in the sense that you need to obviously face reality, but you also need to look at it with a smile, and you need to decide that you want to inflict something onto the world. You need to leave something of the beauty that you want to carve into the world. And I think you go from you don't have to be an extra man any longer. You don't longer have to go along with the path that you feel like you've been given, and you can kind of voluntarily inscribe yourself into something that you think is worth doing. And I've said this before, but I think nature rewards that more than anything else. It rewards the audacious, the reckless in many ways. But you got to back that up with a body of work. You can't just decide to do these things, and you gotta have some skin in the game. You gotta bite your teeth. You gotta have some sweat equity. You have to be willing to get your heart broken. Absolutely. It's scary. I'm not saying that it's easy to kind of get out there and adventure max your way to the life of a novel. But if you read enough of the classics, you realize like these people are no different than I am in the sense that they have the natural resources that I have. I'm just missing the impetus. I'm just missing the self-belief, the self-talk, the mindset that's going to get me from where I am to where I need to be. And that gap is where we need to find ourselves. That gap is where we need to figure out what we're made of. And look, even if at the end you decide, you know what, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what I'm looking for, you can just discard that and start anew. That would be part of the adventure maxing. That's going to take you where you need to go. And sometimes you start doing something and you end up doing something entirely differently. But had you not decided initially to do that one thing, it would have never taken you to where you needed to get to. So hopefully that makes sense. But the idea is you do the things, even if you're tepid about them, you do the things that you think you want to do. And it might get you to the things that you need to do. And so this is all just trial and error. And you need to come away from that situation, from that scenario differently from when you started. That is, I think, the entire point of being a man, is that you start off a certain way and you get to where you think you need to get to. Because here's the thing, people only see what they see. And they don't see the multiple iterations of you. They don't see the evolution it took to get to where you are. And yeah, I mean, that's really the only way to get away from being an extra man. And it reminds me, like, I lost touch with my buddy, but I mean, he kind of fell from grace, had an addiction to hookers and got caught up in a sting operation in a motel situation and found himself marked by a tarnished record and could not pursue a credential that he was hoping to do, and ended up becoming an Amazon worker delivering packages or something. It was a bit grim, but nevertheless, it wasn't permanent. You got a shot at pivoting and doing something different with your life, as opposed to just being a victim of circumstance. So it really is just a mentality in which you decide to take action with whatever you can. And accountability is 100% a part of this. And understanding that you are an agent, you have agency, that you can kind of handle your affairs in a certain way in which you focus on the things that you can kind of take control of, and everything else you kind of have to leave to destiny, leave to God, leave to whoever it is that you ascribe that to, and you focus on the parts that you can kind of have control of. I think ultimately that would be the case for the extra man to kind of feel valuable in life and to kind of extract the nectar of the said situation, and to choose to, sorry, there's a ton of mosquitoes out here, to choose to forge a unique path that is uniquely your own, if that makes any sense. And so, yeah, anyhow, I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.